This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we talk about being specific too soon, the overriding themes from my surveys, and mouth strips. And 3, 2, 1. It's that time of the month, Dan, that I have to charge my Apple Mouse.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
And me, Tom Hall. So that means I can't do any work for a while.
I'm going to do that on mine actually as well. Just realised that I don't need to use it now, so
probably prime time, isn't it, for an hour that we're going to be on here. We can charge our mice together. Thank you.
It's a good shout. I never usually do it.
Something that I've always wanted to do with you, Dan. Charge our mice together. Mice. Yeah, mouses. Oh, that's 6 years old. What's going on?
Oh, loads of stuff, mate. Loads of stuff's going on. Stressful. But yeah, other than that, we're all good. You know? Can't complain. Just saying off air, I've got another dog, 3 dogs.
I have a dog. I know.
In my house. So I feel like Tom's parents, fucking hell. Yeah, loads of dogs. But yeah, 3 now, which is just one more than 2, which is frustrating.
You've got 50% more.
And
nice.
It's not, and it's definitely not like 50% more work. It's 100% more work for some reason.
With it being a puppy, then yeah, I'd imagine so. A little bit more potty training.
It's not even that. It's just like, it just gets frustrating. Frankie's just decided to come in now as well. The door wasn't closed properly.
So it wasn't.
That's going on. And then we renamed the brand as well, Business and Banter. So
we should rename the podcast, shouldn't we?
All change now, you see. Push Pull Legs podcast is definitely not like what it is anymore.
No, we should probably rename this at some point.
What can we get PPL to stand for? PPL, we can get it stand for something else.
Probably. Send it in, post it, do whatever.
Anyone got any ideas?
I'm like literally dead today. I'm I feel like obviously you don't get this. No. Not literally, no. Figuratively, I'm dead. Because I feel like everybody's been hit this week in terms of they're back into routine, back into school, back into work, back into everything. And it is like the 2nd January. September is January number 2.
It is,
and it is like definitely, and the weather's dropped here as well. So everybody's getting a bit of sad. So yeah, not good. And obviously, like we were talking off air again, that pricks upstairs are doing a new, basically the flat upstairs mine got sold, and just a nice 2-bed for £685,000.
Wow,
good. Just put it out there. The flat arm in 2-bed, big in that one. So God knows what this one's worth. Fuck that. So yeah, that'll be interesting. That's really annoying. So all I've had is drilling and hammering and whatever. It's really good when you work from home. A little bit.
Love that.
Luckily, I do have access to an office in central London. So I had to go. I literally came back today, made some poached egg. I went poached egg on crumpet and with Marmite on today. Fancy little change. Good shout on it. Yeah, and it was just. I was like, all right, well, I'm going. I'm going straight away.
Yeah,
I literally just ate that, and I was like, I'm going straight to the office. Fuck this, and did all my calls and stuff in there. So yeah, otherwise, people would be slightly annoyed. I'm like, do this more. Okay, good. Yeah, this is your next part of your business. Yeah. Okay, good. Not good. Not good. Not very professional. No. So I went and sat on like a call booth and like. It's almost like Until basically has a WeWork connected to it. And the call booths are the hottest place in the world. I would literally just sit in there for a half an hour call, sweating. I'm wearing grey today as well. Not fun. So not fun. But anyway, all good. Probably my own fault because I was drinking a peppermint tea to try and calm myself down whilst I was having that call. It's good, isn't it? Tea person. After I'm like you then. Like I think
it's supposed to cool down, isn't it? Tea.
That's what somebody said. Like somebody said it to me like 2 weeks ago as well. I was like, oh, it's meant to regulate your temperature. If you have a hot drink when you're warm, it cools you down. And I was like, it fucking doesn't. Warms you up. Like the tea is hotter than me. Therefore, I'm going to match the tea, no? Like, or we're going to meet somewhere in the middle there. We're not going to drop. I need to get something lower than me so it drops between.
Correct.
That's what happens. Like,
Correct. Yeah. It's basic science.
Like,
yeah.
Somebody said to me, I was like, I don't believe you, but I'm going to try it again. And it didn't work. Have a fucking, your body craves a fucking ice cream and an ice lolly when it's hot. Chances are because it cools you down. It doesn't crave hot tea. Yeah.
No,
utter bullshit. I mean, we can talk about utter bullshit as well. And what we're talking about, we've got to talk about nose strips. Getting too specific.
No, mouth strips as well.
Mouth strips. Oh yeah. Well, we talk about nose strips because obviously you and Mike have made fun of nose strips before, but I think I'm going to get some purely because I'm doing shit tons of stuff where I need to breathe lots. Yeah. That's I think, and basically, if you really want to know what me and Dan do before the podcast, we were both holding our noses right like wide open just to see whether we could breathe. Go check this out on the YouTube, obviously. It's so much better, right?
I might actually get some nose strips. Like definitely, like it's worth trying, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, for like they're like 15 quid for like 40, 50 of them or something like that.
I'm literally going on there now. I'm having a look.
Spread your nose, but because I found another one which you stick up your nose, or like lifts it.
I just don't believe that the stickiness on the strips is strong enough to be able to hold something that can open your nose that much.
So I'm gonna do it because I'm doing
really
runs, like doing runs and long. I can't wear it in the pool. Probably not. Probably won't stay on. But you end up you don't breathe through your nose anyway whilst you're swimming, obviously, because there's a lot of water that goes up there. But running and cycling, I think it might be a benefit to me. Anyway, maybe I'll do it when I'm sleeping, when nobody else is watching, basically. That's when I'll probably do it. Dan will be on the golf course with one on. But yeah, there was definitely one that was like, there was like a German one. It was like stick it up your nose, and then it was like propped up there, so like lifted it. I'm pretty sure
that is the Germans, isn't it? Just do it like to the extreme, just like literally shove like a coil up there or something like that. The spring, like just really like permanent.
Well, I've broken my nose before, so I'm not too sure. Yeah, basically, don't be a gobby shite when you play football. Otherwise, you get elbows in the head.
Yeah, that serves you right.
That's what happens to me. So we're all good. But yeah, what are we talking about? Yeah, niching down too soon, perhaps, or niching down, I guess, ish, from a one-to-one perspective, maybe an online perspective, but also like a too soon perspective. And yeah, I just wanted to vaguely chat, I guess, about it might be interesting for some people. Share my results tonight from my little Ask the Survey, because we were meant to talk about this last week on why I sent it out, but because you did something about should you fucking survey your audience, didn't you? You ask something, and it was like I was doing it for a little bit of a different perspective. But yeah, we can basically talk about what I found and maybe why you should do it or why you shouldn't do it. What should be happening. So yeah, let's talk about that. But yeah, nose strips or mouth strips. Talk to me, Dan. Mouth strips. What's going on?
I put a little tongue-in-cheek Instagram story up today, just saying how I bet there's more coaches that use mouth strips than practice their copywriting. So yeah, it was one of those things where Tom's put his timer on. Yeah, it was just a little bit of a
I've got to reset it. Also,
already 5 minutes in. So.
The productivity purchases. There's one that I'm actually using properly now, and it is just a to-do list. A to-do list. Funny that. Now, that's productivity. That's good. That's better. That one's better than
to-do list
timer. Yeah. If anybody wants productivity gimmicks, to-do lists, because I know you just have I've got loads of pads, and I keep filling just pads up. And I'm like, I'm going to buy a purposeful
another pad to fill up.
Yeah. Another pad, but they're literally just purposely done. So I was like, I don't have to draw like little lines on it each time. So yeah. Anyway, you can get my Amazon link for
affiliate link. Yeah.
And I will earn probably 2p. I don't have an affiliate link. I know some people that do that. They always say I can earn millions. So why haven't I don't know what's going on.
I don't know about millions. Yeah, it's just that whole thing about like I've seen probably about 10 coaches that I follow all try mouth strips to kind of improve their breathing. And I think it's come about because of there's a podcast by Stephen Bartlett with some guy on there who, as you can imagine, was really over dramatizing, saying how people are dying because they don't breathe through their nose and it's going to kill you and all this crap. Which I'm sure is not true, but anyway, there's essentially like a reason that you should predominantly breathe through your nose. I think it's because of the filtration of the nasal passage, mucus, etc. Who knows? All that jazz, basically. I do think it's a bit of a stretch to say, that you're gonna die. But anyway, basically, the thing that I've noticed is that coaches are happy to, again, they do that sort of stuff, but don't do, again, the basics, this sort of thing. And it just makes me laugh when I see it, because I've got nothing against people doing it. This is not a slight on anyone who does it or tries it, because to improve their breathing, all this sort of stuff. My point is that they are happy to jump on something like that requires very little effort to try and get an improvement, to try and see some sort of gains, even if it's probably negligible. But yet to do the things that will definitely get them progress, that requires some effort, they won't do it. Like, they just refuse to do it. And it just makes me laugh, like this whole culture around like quick fixes, optimizing stuff. Again, like the people, so I've seen people like, oh, if you breathe through your mouth when you sleep, it's dangerous and all this sort of stuff, sleep apnea. And it's like, one of the things we also know that's really bad for sleep apnea is being overweight. Really bad. Like lose some body fat, you probably sleep better. Train hard in the gym, you'll sleep better. Improve testosterone levels, you'll sleep better. Like, it's just this whole thing around like, we're trying to do these little tiny things, and the often the big picture stuff that we need to change that's going to impact things massively in the future, we don't do because it requires effort. But if you had a nose strip, mouth strip, oh yeah, I'll try that for a 1% gain, but I won't practice my copywriting to improve my business tenfold. Won't do that. Can't do that. It's too much hard work. Just that whole thing with me, coaches are just more prone to it than most people for some reason, I think. It's weird.
Yeah, I guess it's a weird one, isn't it? Because if they do that and then turn it into a study, and then do it into like some anecdotal content, and then create content around it and do all that kind of a story, can get it. But yeah, buy the nose strip and then turn it into like a story lesson offer kind of email copy or something like that, and then start rolling with that. I would 100%. Then you can use it for your business. Don't just, I bought these, going to see how it is. All right, wonderful.
It's just that on a whim as well, making a decision. It's just that whole like, again, it's that whole thing of like, so they see someone with nose strips or mouth strips, sorry, and so they say, you're going to improve your life. You're going to improve your life. You're going to die if you do this way. You can do this, and you do it. And then they'll see someone else talk about how they should improve their copyright, and it's going to help their business all this amount. But yet one requires effort and one doesn't. So they do the one that doesn't require effort. It's more that it's like, there's no doubt in that the copyright stuff is going to improve things massively. And like, it's just that lack of, oh, it's going to take effort, so don't bother. Nose strip, stick up my nose. Yeah, why not? Well, and they do the same in their business all the time, like looking at trending audio for their reels, or a certain hashtag, or use ChatGPT to write captions. It's like they do all the shortcuts to do that, but they won't do the main thing. They won't do the big picture stuff. And they're the same people that constantly talk to their clients about being in a calorie deficit, doing all these sorts of things. And it's equivalent of not looking at your diet, not looking at your training, not looking at anything like that, and then going, taking omega-3s there because they're going to make me healthy. Well, yeah, alongside everything else, maybe. It's that whole thing that I just find frustrating, and I just find the lack of awareness around it, like that they can't see their own position they're in with their business.
It happens in every. I mean, again, for the minutia, a conversation I literally had on the weekend, right? So Nathan, my housemate, who, yeah, he is a doctor of physiology or whatever, respiratory cardiology. Sorry, but I've written him like a gym program that you're doing twice a week, right? He's stuck at it for, let's say, 6 weeks. So the question and the reading, he's a researcher, right? It's in his nature to read around research and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. The question he asked me this week, bearing in mind, he started weight training for the first time since COVID, I think. And he's been doing twice a week, maybe for the last 6 weeks, once or twice. And he decided to ask me, Tom, do you think I should be taking creatine? No, Nathan, no. I know you only sleep 5.5 hours at night on average, probably. And you've also only been to the gym possibly twice a week for the last month. I don't think creatine is I think you're missing the forest for the trees in terms of supplementations and doing stuff. Maybe sleep. I was like, have you got enough protein intake right now? I was like, I see what you eat. I know you don't. So I don't think adding creatine is going to be the best thing for you, personally. He was like, okay. It's just like, oh, sorry about that hard truth. Or just been like, don't waste your money, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, hit these big fucking, I don't know, massive drums before you like tickle somebody's balls. Like, fuck me. That's not a phrase, but yeah.
Tickle balls, yeah. Tom likes tickling balls, by the sound.
But I mean, this whole fucking podcast is going to be about being too specific too soon, or in a certain extent, isn't it?
And I think like I just went and got new golf clubs, right? I mean, someone talked about this before. When I got fitted for some irons, and there's an element to it whereby like the clubs I had before were fine for where I was at before, and the clubs I've got now are good for where I'm at now. I couldn't have started my golf career using the clubs I've got. I wouldn't have got any benefit out of it. It wouldn't have been the best option for me. It wouldn't have fitted for where I was at right then in that moment. It's exactly the same thing. It's like you have to start off with fundamentals. You have to start off with, and I genuinely believe this as well. I look back over like some of the old videos I had from my first ever coach and some of the coaches I work with now. And I genuinely believe that the coach that I had at the time was the best coach for me in the phase that I was in. Like the guy that I first worked with, he was brilliant, great with beginners. You could tell. The guys I'm working with now, I can tell that if I rocked up as I am, they'd be like, oh, like they'd be saying stuff to me I wouldn't be able to understand and get. I can guarantee it. And it just shows that there's this almost rite of passage you have to go through with a lot of this stuff to get to the nitty gritty. And the irony is that once you are at the nitty gritty bits, you realize that actually there's no point worrying about it. You might as well actually just focus on the basics. That's what's got you where you are now. Do you know what I mean? So it's funny how you develop and you really figure out that, you sometimes don't need to be as specific as you think, but certainly at the start, it's definitely not needed at all, warranted.
And you'll find when you make some of those specific choices, when one resonates and sticks with you, you'll end up having that's your niche, that's your thing, that's your thing that you will always have a habitual kind of thing to do. Which is interesting. But yeah, fucking hell. We'll talk about it. But the also because I said there was Erling Haaland, there was a picture of him sleeping with a mouth strip over as well. He's like, yes, I sleep with one every day. That was my impression. But he is also at the top of his game and like fucking absolutely amazing. So why not? He's kind of he's almost completed football. He's completed playing up front. So you might as well see what 1% gain he can get. Probably the 1%, which for him would be another 7 goals probably. So worth it to get that average wage of just bump it up to like 600-700 grand a week. It's just not doing enough, is he? Get the 1%.
Mental money.
Correct. All right, what do you want to talk about? Niching down, being too people love talking about, you love talking about niche, but being too specificity, that's a hard word to say. Doing specific too soon, or should we talk about some of my overriding themes from my survey questionnaire thing, and what I found?
I think with the niche stuff, I think there's definitely a thing to be said that you can niche down too quick. I regularly have this conversation with people and they go, oh, I want to work with these people. And I'm like, okay, why do you want to work with those people? Well, because I think they're going to have money. Right. That's not the right reason to work with a niche. Like, no, do you even know if you like working with those people? Do you get on with those people? Do you have something in common with those people? Right. All that sort of stuff. You have to have worked with a decent number of people to know who you want to work with or who you get the best results with, who you click with the best, all that sort of stuff. Again, I think a lot of people get into S&C. Oh, I want to work with elite level athletes. Do you? Do you though? You don't know that because you haven't worked with any. How do you know that's where you want to work? How do you know that? Do you want to work with people that have never stepped foot in a gym before? Like, what's your speciality? And that's one of the beautiful things I think about starting as a PT, and why I always think that most online coaches should start personal training before they can't just go into online, is that you do end up working with a vast variety of people that move differently, different goals, different stresses, different strains, different problems, different movement abilities, different goals. For you to decide, yeah, these people I like working with, that should be the fundamental thing. And I think it's why probably, like I said, for you, Tom, you've landed on your niche of who you like working with in terms of strength and power and performance, because you liked working with those people in person.
Yeah.
More so than people that want to lose a little bit of weight. You're like, oh, I can't really be bothered with that. And I'm not as fussed, not as excited about it.
No, and I've got to a stage where even if like somebody that was maybe their goal when they first came to me, they've probably seen how I work and shifted around. This is in person, right? They've probably gone to more. I've not pushed them into anything. It's like, okay, like beggars can be choosers at the start. I was definitely training people who's just wanted to lose weight, or that was their main goal, or that was literally it. And I'm like, I wasn't switched on. I was just like, I don't really find this very interesting. It's like, cool, I'm going to do the basic fundamentals, but then I'm going to start to sprinkle certain things in and just start thinking about other I don't know, avenues of progress. But I 100% agree with like the online coaching thing. Go cut your teeth with as many fuckers as you can see, who've got lots of different needs and lots of different goals and lots of different I don't know, they'll cry about certain things which will like make them motivated and not, just so you can see it. Because it could be a factor of like, I genuinely don't really work great with overweight, kind of similar age, like young age women. I'm not good at it. I don't know how to speak to them properly. I'm not good at motivating them. I will probably piss them off more than anything else. And the same thing happens for like probably elderly women. With the middle, I'm okay. Like some elderly women, I don't tend to work well with as well.
Tom likes cougars.
Exactly. But like most of the guys I tend to work well with. But what has been interesting lately, actually, from an online perspective, I've had more females through my door. Probably because I don't know, we're pushing away from you've just got to look great all the time, and they're like, oh, that's something different to work towards. Okay, we're going to think about performance instead of, so it's more like a body ideal kind of thing, and we'll focus on something else. We'll still look cool, but we're going to focus on something else. Or I don't know whether it's also that what's the fucking theory? It's something really bad. It's about like Nazi stuff. Dan's like, this podcast is going to take a really weird turn.
Let's see what it says.
It's called like red car syndrome. No,
red car syndrome.
Is it called red car?
Red cars in the UK, mate, not Germany.
Red car theory. Is it the red car theory or yellow car theory or something like that?
Oh, the yellow car theory. When someone starts talking about how you never see a yellow car, you start seeing more of them. You start noticing yellow cars. Yeah. The yellow car principle, but it's all called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon.
That's what it's called, frequency bias. Anyway, if anybody wants to look up Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, not a good thing. It's really, but the yellow car phenomenon, the yellow car principle. But I seem to be surrounded by running all the time. Is running making a big thing in your world as well, or is that because I'm liking lots of running fucking shit? Or looking lots of running shit.
You're running lots of shit.
Yeah, and I'm seeing more runners, and I'm like looking lots of that and all that kind of stuff. I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Obviously, my Instagram is just filled with people. Come with a run with me. Anyway, the niching down
boring content.
I know, like I've got more.
How hard is that to make as well? Like just like holding your phone, like, oh God,
like I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's really annoying. Like the phone needs to be strapped to you, and I've got to get it out. I'm like, Bailey look presentable. I look awful, and I'm like, fuck this. This is sad. 10K in. Fuck off. No, don't talk to
I would not
anybody.
get my phone out. Fuck you for that.
Like,
To the end.
dead. Anyway, but yeah, becoming too specific too soon in terms of your niche, in terms of like a one-to-one coach, I think, yeah, don't. The chances are, no offense, I've been training for, no offense to you, Dan. No offense to you, Dan. But if you're listening to this as a coach and you're like, oh, I'm only like a year in, cool, crack on. Keep working with people just that are surrounding you in terms of getting good results or results you kind of, and then you'll gradually resonate with certain people or push down certain niches that you like working with. It was only because of obviously my background in performance and where we did our degrees and stuff that I started talking about that more with my clients, and then gradually happened I have more of those clients anyway who would play sport or have a sport that they like training for, so that would happen. It's generally the people that I've worked with one-to-one. But if you're in person, why are they going to pick you, who are going to start training for football, rugby, or whatever, over someone who's been doing it for 10 years, possibly, if you've only just qualified and possibly don't have the back catalogue? Mm-hmm. And it's the same with online, but you can do it online in the perspective as your copy can be better, your marketing can be way better, you can be more prolific in terms of social media. So it can happen better online, 100%. It is easier to niche down online than it is in person. Personally.
I think as well, like one-to-one in person, I would also argue that I think you could probably go your whole life without having a niche. Yeah. Like you will have people that you are specifically working more with, but you are also limited to the people that walk into the gym. Your niche is anyone that goes to your gym in your area, really.
Yeah.
Like, because yes, there can be referrals and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's like you're going to be limited by the people that are walking through that door as much as you're limited by your niche and your knowledge level and things like that. So I think people can go their whole one-to-one career without really having a niche per se and just relying on being really good at, I think, the results you get.
Yeah, and you have to be really good at your results, and you probably just have to have a system. That's your niche, your system that you put them through to this equals that, therefore you'll get this result. You have a system that you work through. Mine will be athletic-based training of some sort, full body athletic-based training. Which, yeah, I've realized when I talk about fucking why are you still doing body part splits, and it's mainly females who reach out on and ask me about that. I was like, okay, what am I doing something wrong, Tom? And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I don't know your training plan. But possibly if you're only training twice a week, doing a body part split, or you're training 5 times a week and every single thing's got a body part split on it, you're probably doing something wrong in terms of not making as much progress as you could. So yeah, I would say one-to-one, get a system, don't become really specific really soon. So work through that flow, and then online, it seems to be more of like you can niche and attack that niche a little bit better because there's so many different things. It's like, I don't know. I think
online it's more so that you have to, it's more so that you have to speak to someone so that they know what you're about. You can't just blur out.
You still have to be an authority figure, right? So you still have to have that kind of, but that takes time to kind of create, I guess. Because most like people will come to like me and you because like, oh, they've done it. I want to learn from you guys and be coached by you because you probably know more than me about that subject, which tends to be because we work with coaches most of the time, right? So it's just like, all right, they probably know more about that, and I'll be able to nitpick, like get some knowledge off it. So that's about will help you niche. It's the easiest thing to do, isn't it? Pick somebody that's like 12 months to 24 months down the road where you want to be, and just kind of see what they do well. Try and replicate it. It's fairly simple. You could look at Dan's Instagram stuff under a microscope and just literally just go through it and be like, write notes on it and be like, I'm going to try and don't copy, replicate in your own way in terms of what he's doing. Magic, isn't it?
I mean, you'd be posting really boring content then, but you could do it.
Yeah. It wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be great, would it? No. But yeah, it was interesting because it's something that's more prevalent, I'd say, in the sports specific Instagram-y space, and certainly in person, where people tend to throw in these. Especially, I've been bombarded with triathlon based things, especially with swimming. Fuck me. Oh, people just doing balmy shit, or just like, why do we need to make up this exercise, or doing these weird exercises to try and replicate back to sport? And it made me pop up. So this is from I think it's David Gray, not the singer, the rehab specialist. He has like a modern day protocol or like map line thing for rehab, but the same thing applies for people playing sport or your niche or whatever. But so it would be like a workflow. And this is what I mean by system, right? So if somebody's been injured, they would have surgery or something, they have a diagnosis, and immediately they want to restore range of motion. Then you're just going to get better, a little bit better in the joint, that specific model. Okay. Then you reduce inhibition. Okay. So you're just going to bring that pain threshold down. Then you do inter and intramuscular coordination. So that's just work on the muscles in and around that. You're not doing anything specific to that sport yet, anything specific to that muscle group, really. You're working the muscles around it. And then you do full body fucking general strength training to get better at everything. And then we get specific. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things before we even talk about being specific for that sport or for that niche or whatever. I feel like there needs to be 5 checkpoints of do this normal shit done well before you even touch being specific. And then you can add plyometrics and mechanics and exposure to sport training and stuff like that, which is when I talk about the 20%, and I talk about fucking do your 80%, please. Yes, 80% of it will be very kind of generic, or let's say boring, but it will make you the most progress. And then the 20% is the sprinkling to set you apart. Like we'll do first step pace, or it'll be like why that particular 4 weeks is a power-based 4 weeks, or it'll be a speed-based 4 weeks. Because of that 20% of sprinkling shit, you're still going to do the fundamentals of movements and all this kind of fun stuff. And it's certainly that's
same
what
it's
my
the same with golf stuff.
combine
One of
stuff.
my clients, he was like the golf fitness space. He's like, I fucking hate it. It's like literally these people just need to squat and increase in movement.
Exactly.
It's like why are you trying to bring a cable and throw it around your body? It's like, no, that's probably actually the worst thing you can do, because it's going to ruin your actual golf swing, because you don't actually swing like this. And he's like, it's all about your legs. And it's like it's the same principles, right? It's like, just get strong. Like I've had to like catch myself doing that as well. Not that I was doing a lot of fucking swinging shit, but you can break it down and you can look at, oh, should I do this single leg variation because it's more like this part of the swing, or should I do this upper body move? It's like, nah, just get strong all over. Just do powerful stuff all over. That's going to translate. Like it's simple as that. You have 2 feet on the floor when you play golf. Keep 2 feet on the floor when you fucking weight train. You'll be sound. Like simple. Yeah. And it's the same with a lot of sports. Football's the same. All these things are the same. It's bonkers how people try and make it so specific, and it really doesn't need to be. But that's just fucking humans, isn't it? Trying to be special and unique and different and all that jazz. But they get it all wrong. Again, it's that thing of, it's not about the thing that makes you unique and special when it comes to like being online or being a PT or whatever, isn't a fancy ass fucking exercise.
Isn't because you know how to do an adductor side plank row.
No, cool. It's to do with how personable you are with that human being that's working with you. It's to do with how you get your point across. Yeah. Like Tom said, he doesn't work great with certain types of women. It's like, or certain age ranges of women. It's like, cool. That's probably why he doesn't train them as much, because it doesn't click with them for whatever reason. That's cool. Don't like his sense of humor. Don't like the way he says things. Don't like the way he speaks. Whatever. Don't blame him. To be honest, but it's understandable. Like it's normal. That is normal. Whereas I think people would, again, worry that they have to have a unique exercise, or oh, you stole my program. What, you didn't invent weight training, mate? Calm the fuck down. Do you know what I mean? It's all that sort of stuff. It's just a bit like, really? Yeah. Is that really what people think? So you can always spot that a mile off, I think, is that insecurity around, I came up with this, you didn't come up with anything. You stole it off someone else.
You stole it off someone else and then repurposed it. And that will happen forever. And it happens to me in that. So, but it's absolutely fine. But don't pretend you're reinventing the wheel. Anyway, interesting. Let's go discussion I think we're ticking over about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. So we'll go survey shit. So thank you for everybody. There'll be some people that have listened who filled out my little survey thing for my niche. If anybody didn't really know what I was doing, was just a bit of outreach. Again, you can take this idea and run with it if you really want to. But it was not, I think Dan did a post or something about it, and you were discussing, should you survey or questionnaire your audience? And 100%, Dan is correct in the fact that you should probably know who you're trying to talk to or what they are thinking. That should probably be a case. So
yeah, it's that whole thing of like asking people like, oh, what content do you want to see? Well, They don't know. They don't know. Like, I don't come like, if I came across a viral piece of content, it's like, if I knew I wanted to see it, I'd have made it before.
Yeah.
Like, I'd have done that. Like, you don't know what you like. You don't know what's funny. Like,
yeah. Because I'm not going to say the exact questions that were in this survey or question. It was more of a questionnaire, but they were very much more, let's say, centric to ideas that would be around my niche and discussing what their pain points were and what their struggles were and stuff like that. It was nothing about my content, nothing about content they want to see. Not one question was, what content would you like to see? What would you like to see in the training content world? Nothing to do with that. It was more like, what struggles may you have when you're trying to complete this? Are you trying to train for any performance or fitness events currently? Have you ever tried to train for them previously? And all that kind of stuff. So I can get an idea about what the audience I like working with currently thinks and what they're training for and what kind of struggles that they currently have. And there's some overriding themes. I'm assuming not everybody who listens to this have my exact niche. But it was interesting to see, like, so I probably got I got over 60 responses. So it's a decent little amount of people I can kind of take and run with in terms of what they struggle with. But if anybody wants to know, and guess what? My niche, every single one of those people I was speaking to but I'd say 95% of them are coaches. Okay. So it's you guys that struggle. Okay. And you resonate with this is boredom is a massive thing, which kind of we can see when we try and chase these little gimmicks and whatever. And trying to combat that boredom is a big thing that people don't really have anything to train for, which is in turn why I have my combine stuff to allow people to train for something. And within my coaching, I'm like, all right, well, what are we going to train for? Are we going to train for, I'm training for triathlons. Are we training for golf? Are we training for this? Let's set something in the diary that we need to achieve. And that's big for me. That seemed to be the biggest pain point in terms of like, they don't really know what they should be doing for that. And obviously all their running stuff, data wise, it was all fun. Everybody seemed to want to train a little bit more athletically, let's say that, but they're obviously, it was in my niche, so they're probably following me because they want to learn about that, and they were talking to me anyway in a message. So it's like, all right, yeah, they're gonna say that because that's the content they absorb from me anyway. But yeah, biggest thing I'd say, and it will be definitely something that your niche, whomever is looking to this, will resonate, because it was the biggest thing, is training for something. Not having something in the diary that they don't train for, then they lack motivation, they lack adherence, they won't do it, and whatever happened. And it's 100%. So probably why Dan's done the new Blitz stuff is train for photo shoots. There's always an end goal. And it's like, all right, when somebody signs up with you, Dan, to be a mentor, they probably want to go, how long is this? What can we hope to achieve? Well, they probably ask you, right, how much money could I possibly get to? What do you think is feasible? Because you want to put that end goal as well. You want to work towards something. Obviously, we fucking never know when it's a mentorship thing, because we're like, all right, well, you got to do the fucking work, but we still don't know. It could be this, it could be this. We don't know. We hope you won't go backwards. That would be the fingers crossed. But at least
it's something that coaches don't do with their clients well enough. Like, I think coaches need that for sure, more than most. And you know, when coaches sign up clients, they think, oh, they just want to lose the body fat, they want to lose 10 kilos. It's like, yeah, they do, but so they can feel a certain way. Okay, well, but what do they do after that? Like, where do they want to take things? Where do they want to go? And I think it's up to you as a coach to almost like talk them through the phases and when the next phase is, what the next phase looks like, what they're working towards next, how they're going to take, what it's going to look like, struggles along the way, how easy it's going to be, how hard it's going to be, whatever. Not enough coaches call it future pacing. They don't future pace the client. They don't take them through their future and what it's going to look like and how they're going to feel, so that they are invested in the next stages, the next steps. They're just so focused on this week. Yeah, do this, you're losing a half kilo. Do this. Say, but why are they losing a half kilo? For what? For when? When are you going to stop dieting them? They're obviously not going to diet forever. What happens then? What's that phase look like? Why is that phase difficult? Why have they never stuck with that phase before? How are you going to help them through that phase? What's on the other side of that phase? Why is that so good? Why is that important? Why is that different to anything they've done before? It's all those things that they're asking the questions in their own head, but they don't know the answers. And you need to kind of almost preempt it as a coach to talk people through that. It's why people struggle so much on the back end of photo shoots and like competitions and stuff. It's like, it's done, it's over. You've got no reason not to eat the ice cream. So, well, what's next? What's the goal? You should, again, a good coach will tell people in advance of that time, this is how you're going to feel. This is what's going to happen when they're in a better state. So that when it does happen, they go, oh shit, yeah, you said it was going to happen. So this is how I'm going to deal with it. Because I know that the next goal for me after this is this. And that's what I'm working towards. And it's just remembering that. I think coaches are, again, notoriously poor at that with their clients.
Yeah. Which is why somehow, like, I've been quite like, it's been nice going into this weird triathlon-y endurance world, because it does seem to be like people have park runs.
That's a lie.
Park runs to go to, because there's lots of organized things. There's park runs, there's triathlons, there's, why has my camera decided to go weird?
Oh, it's kind of Tom's camera's gone.
Let's switch for the last bit. There we go. That's weird. And I've got really low clarity now on my HD. Isn't it mad that one's gone there? Do you reckon it's my phone? Everybody's like, let's switch it back. We're back. That's fine. Everybody on the YouTube's like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah, I think it's been quite nice, because it does seem to be in that kind of realm. There's lots of more events and certain things that you can go to and run for and train for. I'm going to run this 10K race. Whether fucking do it is another question, because there's always those that, oh, I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah, I'll book it. I was like, okay, well, fucking just book it. Like, it's the worst that can happen. At least you put something in the diary. Be fine. But yeah, it was interesting. Obviously, there was a lot of other themes and, like, I don't know, secondary subjects and stuff that I'll talk about, but I think that was the main one in driving in terms of pain points. If just so my research is your research, guys, on the podcast, it's fine. Yeah, I didn't have to sit there for at least 1 to 2 full days trying to get all this information from people. Fun times, wasn't it? Yeah. And obviously everybody was ecstatic with it. I sent them, every single person, a lovely video, Daniel, with my tips. Not for you though, Dan, because you replied no. So yeah,
I did, mate. But it's good for your engagement though if I reply. So I did reply, because I'm not.
I didn't even send Dan a link. People were going, well, I didn't get a fucking link. Well, ask me for it. It's fine. But yeah, that was also a case of, like, in terms of person-to-person outreach. Just to put that in perspective, I probably messaged about 350 people who viewed one of my stories. Okay, and it wasn't everybody on there, because I would have selected people from that story. Like, Dan probably viewed my story. I probably didn't need to send him a thing, because that would have been pointless. He would have filled it out jokingly. And I'd have been like, right. But if I just put it up on my stories, it's been like, oh, can you fill this out for me? So put that in perspective. When I send it to my email list, how much should I get in terms of email list? 5% of my email list probably filled it out. When I send it to 350 people in a direct message and spoke to them prior to it, I got 60 odd responses. So you can do the maths in terms of probably, I almost got a 20% hit rate of people turning over. So talking to people works, essentially. Being a nice human every now and again. So it's all right. Yeah, people feel so special. Lots of people, there was definitely some people who viewed my story for some random reason and then unfollowed me because I sent them a message. I was like, right. I saw my followers drop by like 10. Could you imagine? Mad. It's like, I was like, literally like, oh yeah, could you really help me with this? They 100% unfollowed me. I was like, that's funny. Oh well, good luck. I'm probably not going to work with you there if you found that annoying. So yeah, my clients get a video from me every fucking week. Unfortunately,
that's crazy.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah, funny how people's mind works. Yeah, I understand the unread thing because it's fine. Like people don't reply, or they're like what are they called? Like I don't know, a peeker or a lurcher or something. They kind of like they're on Instagram not to post, just to look.
Lurker, yeah,
a lurker, yeah. Which obviously people are. So, but yeah, it's fine. More eyes on us, but don't speak ever. Don't comment ever.
No.
Don't like ever. It's always interested in it.
Yeah, people love to do that. Strange.
Yeah, it's a strange thing, but I guess each their own. Each their own. Any other business, Dan? Because
no, not for me.
Time is here.
Time is there.
Probably about 5 minutes plus on that, so we're fine.
Yeah.
No, not from me either. As far as I know, we're all good. There's nothing crazy happening. It's colder here now, so that's unfortunate. You can go. YouTube's obviously rolling, and I've got to review this. I bought a Garmin Forerunner 745, no less. It is not the super expensive version, because I said I was the 965, 55, 45, one of those. So many fucking watches. It's insane for like triathlons and running and shit like that. And I'm not spending 600-700 quid on the watch that I'm going to only use to run with. I was like, that's madness. So yeah, I just wanted this one. So I got it for like 250. Lovely. So I'm going to look at that.
Good job.
It'll do a job, mate. It's fine. I think I can do golf on it as well.
So I can't wear the watch on my wrist when I play golf, because I wear it on my right wrist.
I'll take it off as well. I'm playing on Friday. There's no chances of staying on.
No.
I'm not concerned about my steps that much. It's okay. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week.
See you later.